Good morning, everyone. Doesn't matter where you're watching this video from. I wanted to kind of delve into some things that I learned from Ethereum Conference 2026, or ethconf2026 for short. It was a really fun experience. So I've got some notes in my book to kind of keep me on track. I just wanted to start off by saying thank you to the people who put this conference together. It was a lot of work. The work didn't go unnoticed, and I learned a lot. I brought my dad along. That was fun, and we had a lot of fun together. I really got into crypto early on in 2021. He was kind of skeptical of it, and it was nice to be able to show him that, like, hey, this is a real thing. So without further ado, some of the key points from the conference I learned. The number one point that I think stuck out the most to me, and again, this is just my opinion, this doesn't reflect anyone else's, is there is a vast difference between people who want to know what coins to buy and when to sell versus the people who are actually driving, the equity and the tech forward for everyone. That was kind of clear and apparent by the way some speakers spoke, by the way some developers coded. And that was kind of the big difference to me, because a lot of people would always ask me, like, what coins to buy. Sure, we've all been there, we've all had those questions thrown our way. I'm kind of an Ethereum maxi at this point. That was really cool to be called that in real life, and that's just because I really believe in the technology that Ethereum produces. So the other point that I really learned, the human in the loop makes all the difference in the world when it comes to technology, when it comes to crypto, when it comes to the actual economics driving this technology forward. I genuinely think that, the more good people we have, like the people who put on the conference, and all the innovators who were, genuinely driving the technology forward, and really just pushing, I don't know if equity is the right word, but I guess a chance for everyone to get ahead in life. That doesn't mean that will always be the case, but I think that was a key point for sure. And having good people write good source code, and port projects that are really going to change the world, and I think provide that real world accessibility to innovations that are going to catapult finance, technology, just society in general forward. The kind of, and I have always been a fan of Ethereum. I just didn't really kind of understand the technology behind it, and I'm still learning it, so I apologize if my terminology is wrong, but I hadn't realized that Ethereum is really the backbone middleware of pretty much everything that's going to be going on chain within the next 3 to 30 years, honestly. I think the technology's there. Pardon me. The data supports that. I believe it was I forget his name. He was the CEO, and I apologize. His name was James, and I don't want to butcher his last name, but he was the CEO of FireEyes. And he basically broke down the on-chain data of tokens that are built on top of Ethereum versus other blockchains. I like data, and I like the way it was presented, and to me it just makes sense. If Ethereum already has, I think it was like 33% of the token market, that's a third of the overall token market. And I think that it's going to continue to be that strong kind of bulwark foundation that a lot of these other cryptos are going to be built on. They say it's slow. Well, good things take time. So that's the way I feel. I'd rather do what's tried, true, and tested, than try something that's the data is not necessarily supporting it. Not to say that there isn't going to be a disruptive technology that eventually one day overtakes Ethereum. I just don't see it. And yeah, finally, I guess the fourth and final point I would like to make, I made a lot of really cool friends at this conference, a lot of really cool connections, people that I'm still reaching out to, and learning from. you know, some of the big highlights were just being able to play chess with people, connect with people, talk with people, and find a really cool dog. I haven't adopted her yet. I'm working on that. But yeah, I just wanted to, you know, kind of give my thoughts and blurbs on, you know, what I learned from the conference. And it kind of just confirmed a lot of what I already thought, is that, you know, crypto's headed in the right direction. There's a lot of good people pushing it forward, and despite all the noise and outside chatter, I genuinely think that we're in good hands, and we're going to continue to be in good hands because of the people who are, you know, driving the technology forward. It's cool. I now have a face in the space, so to speak. I didn't realize that, you know, people actually paid attention to me, that they, you know, genuinely value my input on crypto. And, you know, it was really good to kind of, you know, feel like I'm, you know, a part of like a community. Can't wait for next year's conference. I did botch my ticket. Next year I'm definitely gonna get that VIP pass, so that way I could, you know, really bring my dad out, you know, bring my mom out too, hopefully, you know, my family, that way they can learn, you know, more about it. So we'll see what happens next year, but definitely for this year it was a great time. I learned a lot, and I'm going to be making a lot of cool projects over the next couple weeks. That was the other promise I wanted to make, was I want to get better at, you know, coding, and just see, all right, where does this go? You know, and I'm going to be making some really cool crypto projects. I put one on my GitHub. It's not a really good one yet, but it is open source, so feel free to add to it. And yeah, I'm just going to be taking the next couple weeks to just learn, do a lot of the tutorials that were recommended to me by, you know, a lot of the people there, and just discern where I want to go with my career. I'm super excited. Thank you guys for watching. Again, it doesn't matter if you're watching this on YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Instagram, wherever I post this. You know, thank you, and definitely give crypto a chance. Learn as much as you can, and don't be afraid to ask questions and meet people in real life. I think that's going to be a really big driving force that's going to push crypto forward, is the tangibility and the human aspect of, you know, this. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.